It doesn't make any sense. How can Mr. President be talking about renewed hope and economic transformation and increase in the per capita income of Nigerians and prosperity for Nigerians about building a $1 trillion economy when everything is centered around Lagos?
Hello, my wonderful viewers. You're welcome back. So I saw this video and I thought I should share it with my wonderful viewers. You know, in Nigeria, we have 6 seaports in Nigeria, but as we speak, it's only Lagos seaport that is functional. So what happened to the rest seaports in Nigeria? And why is everything being centered around Lagos? Guys, this guy really gave a total analysis in this video, so I want you all to watch, and please drop your comment and view with us in the comment section. I really want to know what you think concerning this. Thank you.
It doesn't make any sense. How can Mr. President be talking about renewed hope and economic transformation and increase in the per capita income of Nigerians and prosperity for Nigerians about building a $1 trillion economy when everything is centered around Lagos? Somebody imports a 40-foot container from Guangzhou to Lagos, and it will cost him 5 or 6 million naira to truck it to Aba. And you don't expect that he's going to pass on that inflation cost to the people, considering the fact that we don't have standard gauge rail lines that extend horizontally from the southwest to the southeast. It's marginalization, economic marginalization, and we have to speak truth to power. I'll tell you what, Lagos is a city of about 18 to 20 million people. We don't really know our accurate census in Nigeria because, you know, we've not had a real census in a very long time. But let's just say Lagos is a city of about 18 to 20 million, occupying 30,527 square meters, I think, which is the smallest landmass in Nigeria. It has a GDP of over $4,500 per capita. When you look at it in real times, compared to the per capita of Nigeria of about $2,520 US. The question now becomes, of the 6 different ports in Nigeria, Warri, Onne, Calabar. Calabar, by the way, was the first deep sea port in Nigeria because Calabar was the first federal capital of Nigeria. Apapa, Tinkan, you know, how many of them are operational? How many of them are operational today? Look, Onne Seaport is designated as exploration and production for oil and gas, which means that if you're bringing any goods that is non-oil and gas cargoes, the rates that your charge is not, it makes the port uncompetitive. So if you bring a car through Onne, you're going to pay more as compared to what you pay in Lagos, which means that Lagos will be the preferred seaport for bringing in cars and every other cargo. And cars, by the way, are one of the major imports Nigeria, that constitutes a share of our major imports, especially from the US. Okay? Why would you not invest in raising the channel draft in Calabar? In 2006, a contract was awarded to a Dutch company to embark on rehabilitation of that seaport and to raise the channel draft. The government had issues with the company over contract variation costs, and that lingered for a long time. When the government attempted to go back to do it, the company says that you cannot, and the case was in court. In 2022, that case was taken out of court for out-of-court settlement. The immediate past MD of MPA says that, oh, they've taken the case out of court. We're going to work on raising the channel draft. The Calabar Seaport is dead. Like, you barely have vessels coming there, maybe 1 vessel per week compared to Lagos. How do you build an economy when the smallest state by landmass that has the highest per capita income with the highest population, right, has the only functioning seaport in Nigeria, while everybody else is left to go home and dry? It doesn't make sense. This is the reason why I'm saying to the president that it is economic injustice and Nigeria is structurally, skewed to favor Lagos economy. And this is the basic truth. The Calabar deep seaport draft has not been done. The documents at the ICRC has been cleared for Akwa Ibom deep seaport project in Ibom. The federal government has sat on it because if you look at the structure, 20% of the shares belongs to the federal government, 20% belongs to the state government, and 60% belongs to interested private sector investor. And that 60% was given as a 34-year concession, a PPP with Bolloré Logistics, like 2 or 3 years ago. Bolloré, the French company, ended up selling itself to MSC, Mediterranean Shipping Company. Mediterranean said they are doing revalidation. Why is the federal government not putting as much effort in making sure that they start building Akwa Ibom Deep Seaport, like they did for Lekki Deep Seaport in Lekki Free Trade Zone? And now the Minister of Marine and Blue Economy is saying that they are going to, cut investors, and they are doing drawings to see that they start Bakassi Deep Seaport. How can Lagos have 3 functioning seaports with a 4th one in the works and every other place is languishing? How do you build an economy when everything is centered around Lagos? Is it because the Lagos establishment is afraid that if there's an operational seaport in the Eastern Maritime Flank, which geographically is better for maritime operations, you're going to have diversion of port operations from the southeast, the south-south, the northeast to Akwa Ibom? Is it because they're afraid of revenue losses? It doesn't make any sense. We have to say the truth to power.
All right. Kevin, you're right. We have to say the truth to power. And thank you for doing that as well. And, yesterday you put out a series of tweets highlighting these issues regarding the Calabar seaport. But you also stated in your tweet about the fact that the southeast is the only region in the whole of Nigeria that doesn't have a high-pressure transmission pipe for gas running through it. I'd love for you to highlight that as well. And now you've asked the federal government to decentralize port operations to the Eastern Maritime Corridor, so that the southeast and the northeast can benefit. Now, why do you believe that this has been so difficult to achieve?
Oji, it's interesting you ask this question. And the reason I don't know what the Southeast Governors Forum are doing. I don't know what they discuss when they meet. But there are critical areas that we must address and we must bring to the table as soon as possible. The Southeast, yes, is the only region that does not have a high-pressure gas transmission pipe to take natural gas through it. You have the AKK, the Ajaokuta, Abuja, Kaduna, Kano. There is a second phase of that AKK that goes to Gausu in Zamfara. Now, in that AKK, you have pressure metering and reduction stations in Gwagwalada for Abuja. You have in Kaduna, you have in Kano. And then you're also going to have in Gausu when the second phase starts. That AKK is what the government hopes to extend for transnational gas pipeline through Niger Republic to Algeria, even if I don't think that will be feasible because of the lack of diplomatic relationship between Niger Republic and the Nigerian government in Abuja. Okay? The Southeast does not have a pipe that runs through it, despite the fact that Abia State produces a lot of natural gas. In 2007, Ibe Kachuku designed Nigerian Gas Master Plan. And in that master plan, he put a 121-kilometer pipe that is supposed to extend from Aba to Owerri, to Enugu, to Onitsha, and then to Nnewi. The government says that no, they want to do a TNGP pipe extension from Abia State to Ajaokuta, and the second phase is going to go from Abia State to Enugu to Ajaokuta. That is going to take gas away from the Southeast, not through the Southeast. You need a pipe that extends that, because you need gas for glass fabrication, you need gas for urea, you need gas for power. 40% of the gas that is typically produced every day, either through associated gas that you get when you drill crude oil, yeah, or through non-associated gas fields. It's used for electricity. So how do you want to increase generation and increase feedstock to the Gencos in the Southeast if you don't build a high-pressure transmission pipe? Whose responsibility is it to make sure that this happens? It's the Nigerian Gas Infrastructure Company, which is a subsidiary of the NNPC Group. So my question to the management of NNPC is, why have they refused to commission FID for gas pipes to the Southeast? Why have the Southeast Governors Forum not gotten into a meeting with the president to ask him why the region does not have a gas pipe that runs through it? What exactly is wrong that it seems that there is like a calculated power share between the Northwest and the southwest. And until every other region in Nigeria gets permission from the northwest and the southwest, nothing happens in their region. It doesn't make any sense. How can Mr. President be talking about renewed hope and economic transformation and increase in the per capita income of Nigerians and prosperity for Nigerians about building a $1 trillion economy when everything is centered around Lagos? Somebody imports a 40-foot container from Guangzhou to Lagos, and it will cost him 5 or 6 million naira to truck it to Aba. And you don't expect that he's going to pass on that inflation cost to the people, considering the fact that we don't have standard gauge rail lines that extend horizontally from the southwest to the southeast. It's marginalization, economic marginalization, and we have to speak truth to power.
All right, then if I can come in here, Mr. Kevin, and you have touched on very salient points this morning. But if we focus on how to decentralize these port operations, with port activities concentrated in Lagos, Nigeria is still facing issues of congestion, of inefficiency, and like you even said, increased cost of doing business, because at the end of the day, it's the consumer who bears the brunt of, of what's currently happening. So when we look at why decentralizing the port operations across the country, including strategic seaports like Calabar, Onne, Warri, remaining a persistent challenge, what are those systemic reforms? What are those infrastructural investments that are necessary to make this decentralization a reality?
Cheiton, I'll tell you what. Well, one of the reasons why house rent has been skyrocketing in Lagos, which also contributes to inflation that you have in Lagos, is because demand is higher than supply of houses in Lagos. Lagos is creating, there isn't enough infrastructure to accommodate the population. And that's because you've centralized the entire Nigerian economy. The contribution of Lagos to real GDP is 23%. Lagos State's factor IGRA ratio is 22% to 78%, which means 78% IGR, 22% FAC. Lagos State generates 26% equivalent. Lagos generates revenues equal to what 26 states in Nigeria generates. 26 states in Nigeria, which means Lagos is the most viable economy. Okay? If you want to decentralize port operations, I'll give you an example. The proposed capex for the Ibom Deep Seaport is $4.6 billion. The share capital contribution of the federal government is about $920 million. The capital contribution of the Akwa Ibom State government is about $920 million. The capital contribution of the private sector investor, which was Bolore, that got a 34-year concession for the ports to build, operate, and manage, is $2.7 billion. How do you raise financing for the project? Afrexim will gladly put up counterparty funding for this Akwa Ibom State government. Akwa Ibom State government can go to the debt capital markets and raise a state government bond to finance its own share. Akwa Ibom State government has a lot of liquidity because it has 13% derivation. It has a huge share from FAC because it's an oil-producing state. The federal government can also get Afrexim to finance its own side of the capital contribution for the project. These are the kind of projects that the government is supposed to borrow for, not to borrow to refinance existing debts, or to borrow to pay salaries, or to borrow to fund the expensive lives of politicians in Abuja. You invest in capital projects that will generate revenue and create jobs for the people and improve their standard of living.